2018, the mayor, he was campaigning about improving the lake. That was one of his promises. And in July of 2018, I think we were out here, we talked about what we were going to be doing. And at the time, my part was mostly stormwater related. But it turned out that I ended up getting a grant from the Department of Ecology to do the Integrated Aquatic Vegetation Management Plan update. And it was a small grant, but that got us into the lake, got us looking at the vegetation, as well as, and this was separate from the grant, is the algae blooms that were occurring. Now, that's a pretty extensive piece of what we're addressing with the projects that we're doing now. We ended up having a meeting with the local property owners. We talked about what really has been done, what needs to be done, and to figure out how we're going to improve the water quality of the lake. It's been studied extensively for past 2 decades, and really nothing has ever been done to improve the lake except for put in sewer systems. I ended up developing a steering committee with the lakefront property owners group of about 6 people. We worked together to review plans and came up with some pretty good options to look at. And that was the beginning of where we are now. The city ultimately decided in 2019 to go ahead and pay for all of the work that needs to be done. So the city is funding all of this. And we figured out that we have 3 basic problems. We've got the algae blooms, we have excessive aquatic vegetation that once it grows, it dies off, it continues to provide nutrients back into the lake, as well as the muck in the bottom of the lake. So it just continues to get worse. And over the last 30 years, the lake has gotten worse for aquatic vegetation. Loam is typically used for lakes to sequester and control phosphorus or free reactive phosphorus that feeds algae. So we ended up selecting a product called Phoslock, which is a lanthanum-based product that sequesters the phosphorus. You spray it out of the water as a slurry. It settles down through the water column, and it binds with the free reactive phosphorus and pulls it out of the water so it's not available to feed algae blooms. So it's really non-toxic. It has no negative impact environmentally, and that was very important for the lakefront property owners as well as us. We don't want legacy pollutants being increasing those that are in the lake already. The other part was the aquatic vegetation. We have some invasive species that are in the lake. Plus, we have an excessive amount of tape grass and elodea, and then nuphar, which are the lily pads that are really excessive on the south end of the lake. So we decided that harvesting would be the best approach for that. For the last 2 years, we've gone out and we've harvested close to 50 to 60 tons of aquatic vegetation from the lake. The other part is the stormwater treatment. I received a grant from the Department of Ecology to do a design for 4 stormwater treatment systems, and we selected 4 sites based on the water quality samples that we collected from all of our stormwater outfalls in the city. And the worst ones, we decided those are the ones we're going to treat. And I expect that to be done in 2025. So the improvements we've seen so far are pretty significant. Water clarity has gone from 6 feet to over 20 feet. You can see the bottom in some areas that are almost at 29 feet. It's incredible. For clarity, we use a tool called a Secchi disc. It's a round disc, black and white. You lower it through the water column until the disc disappears. Once it disappears, you pull it back up until you can just see the black and white, and you mark the string and you measure from that mark to the disc, and that gives you the depth of clarity. We have crystal clear water in the lake most of the summer. In the park area itself, we had a volunteer group come out of the lakefront property owners, and we hand dug out 3 tons of roots, rhizomes from the shoreline, and opened up the beach area so that you can actually have a swimming area at the park now. Regular algae still exists. It's healthy and doing well. Our fish populations, you can see them on the shoreline. You can see them out in the lake. Property owners are ecstatic. They just love the results of what we've done and taking better care of the lake. Cyanobacteria, toxic algae blooms are a national issue. It's not just local. And we have marine algae blooms that, red tide and general water quality issues all around the country. Pets that unfortunately drink some of this water, they can die. People can get very sick. So this is a problem on, like I said, a national scale that needs to be addressed. And the only way you can do that is actually pay attention to it, dedicate staff resources, and do something about the problem. With this project, I got to thank the mayor. I got to thank City Council for making this a priority and supporting this project, which is something that has to be supported on an annual basis. Thanks to the people around the lake, they've been very helpful. You need that community support and engagement to make something like this work. So one of the best parts about this project is that it improves the lake so that it's safe and enjoyable for people, pets, and fish. For more information on this project, you go to the City of Bremerton's website, Public Works, I believe, and then Projects, Stormwater, and Kitsap Lake.